Okay, next. 6 to 1. 6 to 1. Two blocks of masses 3Ks. Two blocks of masses 3Ks, 2Ks are placed beside each other in contact with each other on a rough horizontal surface. So on the rough horizontal surface, two blocks are kept in contact like this, having masses m1 is equal to 3Ks and m2 is equal to 2Ks like this. Horizontal force continuity is applied on 3Ks. Then coefficient of friction between the blocks and the surfaces. The coefficient of friction between these two, mu1, mu2, that is equal to 0.1. The force of contact between the two is dash. So here, definitely, if we apply the external force F on this block, definitely these two blocks will not contact. Okay, when you push the block by applying the force on 3Ks block like this, applied force F is equal to 20 Newton. In that case, what is the contact force between the two blocks? What about the contact force between the two blocks? That is the case. Because of this applied force, first of all, tell me, are the two blocks moved together or not? You see, frictional force between this block and this block in this direction is F1. On this block in this direction is F2. What about F1? Suppose if you see one thing, if the frictional force between these two, limiting friction between these two is greater than the applied force, the block even does not have tendencies to slide. The block does not slide. Whenever the block does not slide or does not start motion, how it can pushes the block this one in forward direction? That's why in that case there is no contact force. Even though just they are in contact, but if this block cannot pushes this block in forward direction. When applied force on this block is less than the friction between these two. So we have to check first. So F1 is equal to mu1 into normal action acts on this block. As this block is kept on the horizontal surface, normal action is equal to weight m1g only now. So mu1 means 0.1, m1 means 3 into g means 10. That is equal to 3 newtons. So applied force is 20. Definitely the block will move. Okay. Similarly, are the two blocks move or not? Similarly, whenever this block is pushed by this, then because of net force, you see F1 in this direction, 20 in this direction. F1 means 3. 3 Newton force acts on the block in backward direction, 20 Newton is upward in forward direction. Then net force is 70. With that 70 Newton force, it pushes this block in forward direction. It move or not? So we have to find F2. If this 70 Newton is greater than this F2, then it will move. Less than F2, this block cannot move. So F2 is equal to mu2 into normal action acts on the second block is m2g. mu2 means 0.1, 2 into 10. That is equal to 2 Newton. Definitely, here applied force on the second block is less or greater than this only. That's why the two blocks move together. The two blocks move together. So what is the acceleration? Therefore, for the two blocks when move together, as applied force is equal to 20 Newton, it is greater than F1 plus F2. Then both blocks move together. Both blocks move together. Okay, therefore, as the both blocks move together, common acceleration is equal to AC is equal to on the two blocks together net force acts F net on two blocks by total mass of the system as the two blocks move together. Common acceleration is equal to net force acts on the two blocks together means on the two blocks applied force in this direction and on the two blocks friction is in backward direction. That's why net force is F minus F1 plus F2 by total mass M1 plus M2. So this is equal to applied force is 20 minus F1 plus F2 means 3 plus 2 by total mass 5. Therefore, A is equal to common acceleration equal to 3 meter per second, no? Second square, no? 20 minus 5 means 15. 15 by 5, 3 meter per second square. It is the common acceleration. Now, what is here they asked? What is the contact force? The force of contact between the blocks is how much? Contact force they asked. In between these two, what is the contact force? When applied force is in this direction, because of contact, this second block exert the opposing force on the, because of inertia property, the second block, because of contact here, second block exert the force on the first block equal to contact force. Okay, now on the first block, you draw the free body diagram. On the first block, you see, first block of mass m1, contact force acts in this direction. Applied force is in this direction. Okay, at the same time, frictional force acts on this first block is opposite to the applied force. That means frictional force also acts on the block in this direction only. Even then, as the entire system move with common acceleration, definitely this block also move with the same acceleration. A1 is equal to 3, AC, that is equal to 3 in this direction. So net force is equal to F minus of Fc plus F1. This is a net force acts on the this block, first block. That is equal to mass of the first block into acceleration of the first block. F means 20 minus Fc we had to find plus frictional force is equal to, already we got 3 Newton. Is equal to M1. M1 means mass of the first block 3 into acceleration of the first block is also 3. Okay. Therefore, Fc plus 3 is equal to 20 minus 9 means 11, or Fc is equal to 8 Newton. So, contact force between the two blocks is equal to 8 Newton. Because of contact of the two blocks, one block exerts the force on the other block. Okay. Because of contact only, because of contact between these two blocks, this block exerts the opposing force on the first block. Okay, that is the contact force. What is the direction of this contact force? Means contact force is always opposite to the applied force. So here this contact force Fc is opposite to applied force. F. This is the contact force. Okay, you see all of it. This is the contact force. Fifth problem I want to say, because fifth problem is very, very important. It was previously asked question in mains. Fifth problem. That is also important one. All of you read the fifth problem. Fifth problem also you see, all of you. For which option is 3? For which problem? For fifth problem, option is 3. Yeah. For fifth problem, option is 3 only. No, for fifth problem, option is 3 correct. Yeah, option is 3, 3 by Z. Yeah, that is correct. Okay, fifth problem, all of you see the problem. A horizontal force applied on a body on rough horizontal surface produces an acceleration of A. Here, applied force F is in this direction. A horizontal force is applied on a body on a rough horizontal surface produces an acceleration A. So whenever the applied force is in this direction, then frictional force acts in opposite direction. In first case, frictional force is say F1. Okay, mass of the block is not given. Okay, you imagine M. Okay, then acceleration of this block in this case, A1 is equal to A in forward direction. That means F minus frictional force is the net force, that is equal to mass into acceleration A. F minus frictional force means mu into normal reaction. Because in first case, frictional coefficient of friction between these two is mu, that is given. Mu into normal reaction is mg, that is equal to m into A. This is equation 1. In next case, coefficient of friction becomes mu by 3. The coefficient of friction reduces to mu by 3. Same force is applied. Then acceleration increases by 2 units. In next case, when same force is applied, but coefficient of friction is reduced to 1/3. That's why mu by 3. Into normal action is same. That is equal to m into. In this case, acceleration increases by 2 units means A plus 2. So m into a plus 2 is the a plus 2 is the acceleration second case. Increased by 2 units. Then what is the value of mu? So we had to find the value of mu here. Okay. So in this case, you subtract these two. 1 minus 2. That means you subtract. Then it becomes minus plus minus. These two cancel. Then this plus minus mu mg plus mu mg by 3 is equal to this ma minus of a plus 2 into m. Okay, here when you take LCM, then minus 2 mu mg whole by 3 is equal to, here we see m into a minus ma plus ma cancel. Then minus 2m is there, minus 2m. Minus minus cancel, 2m cancel. Okay, therefore mu is equal to 3 by c. It is the coefficient of friction mu initially. Okay, they asked the value of mu. Okay, in this way you have to do. Value of mu they asked. Next. Seventh one. A heavy chain lies on horizontal tabletop. The coefficient of friction between the chain and the table surface is 0.25. The maximum percentage of length of the chain that can be hanged over the edge, one edge of the table is. Already I said the concept clearly. So on the table, okay, this is the table. There is a chain. A heavy uniform chain lies on a horizontal tabletop. Coefficient of friction between the table and the chain and the table surface is mu is equal to 0.25. Maximum percentage of length of the chain that can hang over the edge of. Okay. If the chain is kept over the surface of the table so that certain length of the chain is hanging from the edge of the table. So what percentage of length of the chain is hanging from the edge of the table, so that the chain does not slide. So here, the maximum percentage of length of the chain that can hang over the one edge of the table, so that the chain does not slide. So suppose the total mass of the chain is capital M and length is capital L, in which whenever L length of the chain is hanging from the edge of the table, at that for that maximum length, the chain does not slide. If the length of the hanging part is greater than this one, immediately chain slides and passes. So what is the maximum percentage length of the chain hanging from the edge of the table, so that the chain remains over the surface of the table only? That means L by length of maximum length of the chain hanging, L or L max by total length L. It is the fraction of maximum length of the chain hanging on the chain not to slide. Percentage means into 100. That is equal to question mark. Already I said this concept also, I think. Okay. So here, whenever the chain does not slide on its maximum length, definitely the weight of this hanging part, whatever the weight of this hanging part, that weight of the hanging part acts at this point as the tension, and that pulls this chain in this direction. At the same time, limiting friction acts on this part of the chain in this direction. Whenever these two are equal in magnitude, whenever T is equal to FL, the chain does not slide. T means maximum tension at this point in the chain, that is equal to weight of the hanging part. T is equal to weight of hanging part. Already I said this concept. Weight of hanging part. Okay. Now, of course, if you are having formula, if you are having the formula, if you know the formula, then directly we can do. Otherwise, we have to do like this. Okay. Here you see. Therefore, weight of the hanging part. Weight of the hanging part means total mass of the entire chain is m, length L. The mass per unit length means m by L. If it is the mass per unit length, for this length, what is the mass? Means L max into m by L. It is the mass of the hanging part into G is the weight of the hanging part. That is equal to tension in the chain at this point, which is equal to limiting friction on this one. Limiting friction means mu into normal reaction acts on the chain. Normal reaction is mg, mass of the chain on the table. Mass of the chain on the table means mass per unit length is m by L. Then what is the length of the chain on the table? It's only now. So for this length, L minus small l max. Okay, what is the mass? So this is the mass of the chain on the table into Z, weight of the chain on the table. So here m by L cancel, G, Z cancel. Okay, therefore L max is equal to mu L minus mu into L max. Okay, you bring this minus mu into L max to left and you take L max common. L max of mu plus 1 is equal to mu into L. Therefore, L max by capital L is equal to mu by mu plus 1. Already yesterday we derived. Okay. Therefore, percentage of maximal length of the chain hanging for which the chain does not fall is equal to L max by L means mu by mu plus 1 into 100. It was also given once in mains. Mu means now you substitute the data 0.25 by 0.25 plus 1 into 100. Okay, when you simplify them, I think you will get 20%. So exactly 20% you will get. So this is the answer. Okay. I think some of the students got this answer also. Right, very good, Nana. Next. Next one, you see. Third problem. In level 2, third problem very, very important. That third problem also asked in mains. Okay, third problem may be easy, but to some of the students I have to explain. No? Shall I explain third problem or no need? Then I will explain fifth problem. Because third problem is also important one I want to explain. Okay, here a block of mass m lying on a rough horizontal plane is acted upon by a force P and another force Q as in the diagram. So here this is the block kept on the rough horizontal surface. Okay, it is pushing with a force Q in this direction and pushed with a force P in this direction. Here this force Q is applied by making an angle theta with vertical. Okay, the block will remain in equilibrium if coefficient of friction between the block and the surface is. For what value of coefficient of friction, the block will be under equilibrium. Here, the mass of the block is m. Then weight mg acts downwards direction, and at the same time, normal reaction acts on the block in upward direction. Okay. Now you see, what is the component of this force? Here we resolve this force into components. One component in this direction, another component in this direction. This component is q sine theta. As theta is there, this component is q cos theta. Here, when as this q is resolved into components, just you forget this force. Now, on the block, along horizontal direction, two forces act, P and Q sine theta. That's why net force acts on the block is P plus Q sine theta. Towards right. Okay. As it is a rough surface, when you push the blocks with this force in horizontal direction, at the same time, a frictional force acts on the block in backward direction. Here, what will be the coefficient of friction they asked? Here, F acts in this direction. Even though the block is under equilibrium. Block is under equilibrium means definitely this force, the total force acts on the block along horizontal direction in this direction must be balanced by this friction. Okay. Here, particularly they did not ask is it static friction or like that, means you have to take the limiting friction only. FL is equal to F. It is under equilibrium. Okay. Therefore, P plus Q sin theta is equal to FL means mu into normal reaction. In this case, what is the normal reaction? You see, rate mg pushes the floor in downwards direction. Q cos theta also pushes the floor in downwards direction. Total force acts on the floor due to block in downwards direction is equal to mg plus Q cos theta. The equivalent reaction force is exerted by the floor on the block. That's why normal action is equal to mg plus Q cos theta. Okay. Therefore, in this we have to obtain only mu. Mu is equal to. So what is the answer? Mu is equal to P plus Q sin theta by mg plus Q cos theta. P plus Q sin theta by mg plus Q cos theta. So option 1 is correct. Next, fourth problem you do. Fifth problem I will explain again. Because already I thought, because mu mg you will get. I will explain. It is level 2, page number 205. So in this 205, problem number 5, I want to explain. Because we can do the problem and at the same time. Okay, I think same problem only. Okay, right. I will explain. Already I said the concept. Some of the students were unable to understand. Again, I will explain. Okay. Here, all of you look at the board. Yeah, all of you look at the board. Here, one block is kept on the rough margin of the surface having coefficient of friction mu. It is one end of the spring is connected to the block, other end of the spring is connected to string. String is passed over the light frictionless pulley, and it is fixed to the rigid wall, vertical wall, and P is pulled with a force equal to F. Okay, here they asked what is the minimum force F required to move the block. For the block to move, what is the minimum force to be applied? That is the question they asked. Here, this block is pulled by the spring now. Okay, suppose whenever this pulley is pulled in this direction, at the same time the spring will extend. Due to that, spring force is developed. That spring force only pulls the block in this direction. Here, whenever the spring force pulls the block in this direction, the friction exists between these two, acts in opposite direction. No? So friction acts in opposite direction. For the block to move means definitely the spring force applied on the block, acts on the block, must be equal to limiting friction. Then only the block will move. Otherwise, the block cannot move. Whenever the spring applies the force equal, the spring force applied by the spring on the block must be equal to FL. Then only the block starts sliding. Otherwise, the block cannot start sliding. That's why here Fs is equal to, suppose at this time, whenever the spring force is Fs, which is equal to FL, the extension of the spring is say X. Extension of the spring is X means at the same time, whenever the extension of the spring is X, then you see that extended spring, because of extension of the spring, the spring displaces through certain distance here. So this length and this length, extra length is increased in the string. That is because of extension of the spring only. If the spring extended by X, then the displacement of the extension in the spring, is equal to say X. Let extension of the spring is say X. Then spring force is equal to Kx, that is equal to F into L. This is equation 1. Okay. Whenever the extension of the spring is X, that X is distributed through this for this length and for this length. That's why this must be equal to X by 2. This length must be equal to X by 2. Because extension of the spring is X means, because of that, when the pulley displaces by this one, this part of length of the string, this part of length of string is increased because of this extension of the spring only. That's why this extension will be distributed for this length and for this length equally. That's why this displacement of the pulley is X by 2, X by 2. Okay, now what is here? This is equation 1. Here they asked what is the applied force they asked. applied force in terms of mu they asked. Kx is equal to mu into normal action of mg. This is equation 2. Now, because of this applied force, as the pulley displaces a distance equal to x by 2, then work done by applied force on the pulley is equal to F into displacement x by 2. Because of this work done by the applied force on the pulley, as the pulley displaces by a distance x by 2, at the same time some tension is developed here. Such tension is the spring force. Such tension T, which is equal to spring force. Okay. Because of this tension, which is equal to spring force, some work is done on the spring to extend. So, what is the work done on the spring to extend? Here, as long as the spring extends here gradually until its extension becomes x, the force developed on the spring gradually increases. It is not constant. Directly at the instant whenever extension starts, the spring force is not equal to Fs directly. As long as extension gradually increases up to x, the spring force also increases up to kx. The maximum spring force developed here is kx. Okay, what is the work done on the spring? Here, initially spring force is 0. Average spring force developed we have to write. Average spring force developed. Average force into extension of the spring x. Average spring force developed means maximum spring force is x plus initially 0 by 2. It is the average spring force developed into x. Therefore, Fx by 2 is equal to kx square by 2. Here x by 2 cancel. This implies F is equal to x. But F is equal to x, that is equal to mu mg, no? That's why applied force is equal to mu mg to pull the, just to start the motion in the block. So this is the answer. Okay. What is about Vamshi? Mu mg is the minimum force. What is about Vamshi? Come on, hurry up. Okay, average spring force developed means actually the spring force developed is directly proportional to extension of the spring. Or Fs is equal to some proportionality constant k into x. K is called spring constant. That means here initially there is no spring force. As long as extension increases, spring force gradually increases with extension. That's why the spring force is not constant. It gradually increases up to extension. In the extension, the spring is x. Okay, during this time, what is the average acceleration? Average acceleration means F average is equal to F maximum spring force developed, that is equal to kx plus minimum is 0 by 2. Maximum spring force means kx by 2. This is the average spring force developed. So average spring force developed is equal to kx by 2 into extension of the spring is x. That's why this is the work done on the spring force. This work done on the spring force is stored in the spring force as the potential energy. That's why potential energy stored in the spring is equal to half kx square. Whenever the spring is extended by x, then what is the energy stored in the spring means half kx square is the energy stored in the spring. Okay. Now, okay, you do 15th problem. Next, you need not do everyone because time does not permit. You do the 15th problem. You do 15. Okay. Next, I will say in exercise 2. In exercise 2, page number 207, level 1, problem number 1. If time permits, I will take the class today. Okay, from 4 to 5. Okay, all of you. I will discuss some more problems. Right. You see, first problem. An eraser weighing 2 Newton is pressed against the blackboard. Here there is a blackboard. One eraser is pressed against the blackboard. the weight of the eraser is mg is equal to 2 Newton given. It is pressed against the blackboard with a force 5 Newton. That means the blackboard is pushed against the eraser is pushed against the blackboard with a force 5 Newton. With this force, whenever the eraser is pushed like this, then normal action also acts on the blackboard. That is also equal to F only. With what force the eraser is pushed against the blackboard also exerts the same amount of reaction force in opposite direction. That's why indirectly normal reaction is given. Because of this weight, whenever the eraser tries to slide down, then at the same time, the friction between the eraser and the vertical wall acts on the eraser in upward direction. Okay. Now, here how much force parallel to the blackboard is required to slide the eraser upward? To slide the eraser, here to slide the eraser upwards. Sometimes they may ask, what is the minimum force with which the eraser is pushed so that the eraser does not fall? In that case, the FL must be equal to weight. Mg is equal to FL. FL means mu into normal action. Normal action is equal to F here. F we have to calculate. Everything will be given. But here in this, the problem is not this one. What is the minimum force required to move the eraser upwards? Here, to pull the eraser upwards, what is the minimum force required? That is the question they asked. To move the eraser upwards, whenever the eraser is moving upwards, then friction between the eraser and board acts downwards direction. No? So for the eraser to move upwards, minimum force is equal to F minimum is equal to move upwards. The total force, minimum force to be applied in upward direction is equal to sum of the forces acts on the eraser downwards. That is equal to mg plus fl. This is the force. Okay. So how much force parallel to the blackboard is required to slide the eraser upwards? Okay. Parallel to the blackboard, what is the force required? So this is equal to mg means 2 plus fl means mu into normal reaction. That is equal to 2 plus mu into normal reaction means applied force only. So 2 plus, what about mu? Mu value is given as 0.2. So 0.2 plus into F means 5. So therefore 2 plus 1. Therefore minimum force is equal to, what is mu? Sorry, mu is 0.4. So 2. Therefore 4 Newton. So minimum force required to move the eraser upwards is equal to 4 Newton. This force must be applied upwards. So this concept is also important. Okay. Next. Next exercise 3. You do second problem in this. You do second problem in this. Okay. Okay. You see, you do in this. 15th problem, just you do. 15th problem, you do. Next. Here, first problem I said just now. And second problem you do. Okay, next. Third problem you do. Next you see. Sixth problem and seventh problem. Integer type. Sixth and seventh problems you do. Now I will explain. You see. Exercise 3. First problem. A body of mass 8 kg is in limiting equilibrium or an inclined plane of inclination 30 degree. If the inclination is made 60 degree, the minimum force required to prevent the body from sliding down is dash. A body of mass 8 kg is in limiting equilibrium or an inclined plane for angle of inclination 30 degree. Okay, all of you look at the board. First problem, the page number 209. The body of mass 8 kg that is kept on the inclined surface. Whenever theta is equal to 30 degree, then it is under limiting equilibrium. Limiting equilibrium means the body tends to slide but not slides for this angle. That's why this angle is called angle of repose, no? So whenever it is angle of repose, then coefficient of static friction is equal to tan alpha, we can write now. Tan alpha means 1 by root 3. Okay. Indirectly, coefficient of static friction is given. Now, whenever the angle of inclination is 60 degree, definitely the block slides. Whenever the body slides here, what is the net force acts on the block in downwards direction? Net force acts on the block in downwards direction is equal to mg of sin theta minus mu cos theta, no? Because whenever the body slides down, weight component mg sin theta acts downwards. Here, it is the weight component normal to the plane of contact, that is mg cos theta. Okay, and friction force acts in opposite direction, Fk, in opposite direction. Okay, so net force acts on the block is called mg sin theta minus Fk. Fk means mu into normal reaction. Normal reaction means mg cos theta, because normal reaction here is equal to mg cos theta. When you take mg common, then it is the resultant force acts on the block in downward direction. To prevent the slipping, at least you have to apply the minimum force on the block in upward direction, because it is the net force acts on the block downwards. To prevent slipping, minimum force required to prevent slipping is equal to this only, but it is opposite direction. So this is the answer question they asked. So this is equal to 8 means weight of the body means 8 into g, you take 10 into sin 60 minus mu means already we got 1 by root 3 into cos 60. So 80 into root 3 by 2 minus cos 60 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 root 3. So this is called 80 into, you take LCM. 2 root 3 is LCM. So 2 means root 3 into root 3. 3 minus 2 root 3 means 1. So this is equal to, here, this 2 cancel 8 by 80 by root 3. Therefore, minimum force required to prevent the slipping is equal to 80 by root 3 Newton. Okay, next. Next problem. Okay, today evening I will take the class. At that time I will explain. Okay. How to got F minimum? Already I said no. F minimum means whenever the body is sliding, net force acts on the block in downwards direction equal to mg sin theta minus mg sin theta minus Fk. Fk means mu into normal action. So mu into mg cos theta. So mg we take common. Already I said yesterday in the class, you see. Okay. This is the net force acts on the block in downwards direction. So minimum force needed to move the block up, minimum force needed to prevent the slipping is equal to net force in downwards direction. That amount of force to be applied on the block upwards to prevent the slipping. Okay. Minimum force they ask. You ask a concerned vice principal, etc. Okay.